pleased to say the van passed the MOT, flying colours, no advisories. But one thing that's been annoying me, and I'll show you what I mean. I don't know if you can see this properly, but the headlining, especially here, some dope has put his hand there. Can you see the fingerprints there? I don't know if you can see it. There we go. Can you see that? It really annoys me. Now, I've actually got some stuff to actually put over this, like carpet. But I thought to myself, well, I'll give it a try, because what happens is the nylon there, this isn't a stain. This is actually where it's stuck there to the foam. But here it's floating. So, of course, you've got this, what appears to be a watermark there, but it's nothing to do with it. There's no dampness there at all. So I thought I'd give it a try and see if I could get these damn marks out. So what I decided to do was to use a Black & Decker heat gun. And by working it on that area, I've already done one bit and it's come out fine, it was there. And I'm going to work it again and I'm going to see if I can get this one out as well. I'll try and hold the camera at the same time so you can see. Fingers crossed. Now what I've done is, I'm hoping that you can see that better there, because what I've done is I've actually closed the back window, so now I've only got the lights in the bathroom. So let's see what happens. There we go. Just work it. As I say, some idiot put their fingers on it. I don't know who. There we go. You see it all pulling tight and disappearing. All the finger marks are coming out. There we go. Doesn't take a lot of heat. But it's only sponge under there, that's all it is. So of course it's a bit of an issue. Especially when somebody puts their big mitts over it and pushes it in hard and it stretches the material. Now I'm hoping that that will be permanent, but I think you'll admit with very little work there that now looks a darn sight better than it ever did. There you go. So give it a try, lads. All you need is like a paint stripper gun. This is an old Black & Decker. Had it for donkey's years, this one. It's 1600 watts, but you mustn't get too close to it or else you'll melt it. So, hope that little tip helps you. It's a right messy job. This is just the nylon. That's all it is. So it's breathable. And then it's just glued on to foam. And the trouble is that the foam, obviously, because that's all you've got, is a bit of insulation there between that and the outside. Get a cold night and you get condensation on that, which is not much good at all, is it? Now you've got it in at both ends of the van. The most important one, I suspect, is the one over the cab. Now that one doesn't look too bad here, but I'm not going to leave it the way it is. Anyway, let's tackle the bathroom area first. Well, after pulling off the cover, just the cover, look what muck I'm left with. It's everywhere. Look, it's awful. It's just dust. And this is what you're left with. This. And that's all it is, look. That's all it is. That's why it marks. Look, you just push it in and it stays there. Because the foam is so old, you know how ordinary foam falls to bits, especially under carpets and stuff like that. Well, this is no exception. Look, it's just a disaster. Look, that's all it is. There's no dampness here. It's wood behind actually, so there must be wood where the aluminium is, just glued onto the aluminium, and then this stuff is the finished process, and it's just bent into shape when the thing's being made. But it's rubbish. Look, it's absolute rubbish. Look, got no strength in it at all. Completely gone. So I've got to scrape all that lot off. I've cut it as best I could and pulled it out in places like this, but I'll use the scraper to get in there and cut it out. And what I intend to do is, I can't get this off. This section here, this beading here, I can't move. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually fit it up to that. as tight as I can, but scrape everything else off. You can't get that off. And of course that beading goes round on both sides there, as you can see, look. And there's no way you can pull that out. I was hoping that I'd be able to pull it out, but I think that's put in when the outside aluminium section's been put in. Anyway, I'm going to have a go at scraping this off and getting it out, and then after that hoovering all the rubbish up. Right, making a start on this now, and this is wood, and perfectly dry, nothing wrong with that at all, and we've had loads of rain recently. This foam is just stuck onto it, and you can see if you look down here, there we go, there's the edge of the board, can you see it? So this bit is preformed, so you have the foam stuck on it with that nylon covering which is stuck onto that, and then this is bent when the van is being made to shape, and then these bits are just put in afterwards. But this stuff is just rubbish. But it is definitely an impact adhesive that's on the back here. So there is very little insulation qualities on this at all. As you can see, that foam isn't very thick. And that's all you've got between that really and the outside aluminium skim. So whereas everywhere else here and everything all got polystyrene in, and also the floor, you know, it's got loads in there. And no doubt this has too, the main roof section. As you can see, it's quite thick, as you can see there. This is the weak link. You've got nothing there at all, and also it'll be a cold spot because as the wind passes over that section, it's going to take any of the heat away. So this is totally inadequate really for any colder evenings, you know, when you get in bed, unless you leave all the damn windows open. And then after that you would not have any condensation problem at all. But you will get a condensation problem with this. It's inevitable. Anyway, I'm getting it off. Not easy. It makes a right old mess. But using a scraper, you can get under it, as you can see. There we go. You can get under it. And the hard part is at the top, where you've got to get under that bit there and you know, make that so that it will come away cleanly. But there you go, it's a messy job, but in all honesty, if you want to start using the van you know, in the early spring and you know, towards the autumn, I think it's a necessity to get this off. Besides it being rubbish and past its sell-by date, this van is a 1999, so it is quite old. But as you can see, the foam has failed. There's no excuse for that. And the insulation totally inadequate. Even if it was proper foam there and it was okay, I still maintain that that board behind would get wet. But as you can see, there's absolutely no sign of any wetness there, any dampness there at all. So yes, when I get it all off, I'll have a look, see, because obviously you'd have a stain on that if there was any water, and there's nothing there at all. So it's obviously fine. It's just purely condensation. Anyway, I will carry on, gentlemen, and I've got a lot of mess to clear up here, haven't I? There's so much dust that's just coming away because it's all breaking away. That's fun and games, isn't it? Okay, I will catch you later. I've removed the bathroom cabinet, and be careful when you're doing it because they use like a clear silicone on the back. I'll show you. So there we go, you can see it there. It's like a clear silicone that they use to stick it up. So before you remove it, just do some marks. You see them? Just small marks there, just so that you know where the actual unit comes to. I'll just give that a quick clean, but be careful when you're peeling it off the wall because with this stuff is really stuck on well, but it will come off if you gently ease it. It's just steady pressure and it peels off from the plastic. Now the other thing I wanted to show you is this has all been cleaned up now, and as you can see there's no stain in there at all. It's just the residue of the glue and the foam, And to reiterate that, I'll just show you, where's my meter gone? Yeah. Right, I've got a damp meter here. I don't like using them, but you know, if it's your own van, then you put it in certain places. Forgive me moving about, but there we go. I'll set it now. We'll do it in a few places. So we're showing 8.5 there. This is on its most sensitive setting. 9.6 there, and we're showing 5.7 or 6.3 there. A bit all over the show. Come down to the lower areas here, and it's showing 8.8, and here we're showing, let's get the 6.9. These are always the corners that will be the worst. Now that's what we're showing there, so you can see it's got no dampness there. And if I do something else that will give you an idea, if I can do both, I'm going to hold the camera and show you this. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. So it looks like I can get it better. What I'm going to do is I'll put my finger on the back of it. There you go. And that gives you 15, 16. Can you see that? So just my fingers on the probes there. I'm showing, you know, 14, 7, 15. So you can see there is absolutely no dampness on that internal wood panel at all. Now that's a great bit of news, because that makes, by doing that, it tells you that all the outside seams here on the outside, the aluminium, are not letting in water. And I think a lot of that is due to the aluminium that I put over the edging. Now I'll show you that in a moment, but this is now done and it's ready to be primed with the adhesive, and then after that, after I cut the section to shape, I can then put that up. It's going to be a bit of a game. Bear in mind as well that the bathroom is the worst place. You've got, when it's cold outside, it's got all cold surfaces, and if you're going to get condensation, if you're doing a bit of cooking, or even when you're sleeping, it's going to come out here. So this is the worst place when you're washing. You're having a wash here and you've got hot water. So there you go. Anyway, I'll show you the aluminium foil that I put on the channel outside, which helps to prevent any water ingress on the channel. Right, I'm by the cab area. But if you look here, there we go. Can you see that? You might be able to, you might not. In actual fact, look at that. That's the normal aluminium finish. It's actually got a bit of oxidation on there or whatever. And here is the tape. Now that is over the plastic insert. Leave the plastic insert, and this aluminium self-adhesive tape is put over it, and it goes up and around, all the way around. Even the joints are done there, as you can see, and it goes all the way over the van. Now the key to this is that if you have a look underneath this seal here, you'll find that it's got screws which actually hold the whole damn thing together. Now I can show you that where the covering is, where the plastic insert has been taken out. Hang on for a moment. Right, this is one of the small lockers on my van. Unfortunately you can't get replacements for this because it's so narrow, but can you see the screws? 1, 2, 3. Well, these are inside the channel, and then what they do is they use the plastic to go over it to hide it. And what happens is that it shrinks, the plastic shrinks, water then goes in behind the channel, goes where the screws are, and rots the whole damn thing out. We've got blinding sun here at the moment. This channel here is has got the plastic stripping, and this is where you stick the aluminium over. Now if you go down, this has shrunk away something rotten, and there we go, and there are your screws. Now on the top edge where your roof is, as soon as this lets in water, okay, it's a gutter then, and your screws then will rot out. So you can get it off eBay, the aluminium foil, and you stretch it on. When I say you stretch it on, stick it on, and as you're going up, to stop it getting any bubbles or anything, use a credit card and just keep wiping it to get all the air bubbles out, after you've meticulously cleaned it, of course. And this is not so important here, but where you've got the main channel, up on the roof there, that is the key. That has got to be done really well, and that stops all the water getting in there and rotting out your screws, which will then cause you issues inside. Anyway, enough of that. Right, we're back inside now, so shortly we'll be on clean-up time. But anyway, the good news is by doing that, that stops any water getting in, rotting out the screws, and then rotting all this out, which is the normal scenario. And of course, once it gets through here, it's then down into the other bit, and then after that everything else goes as well. So we've got absolutely no dampness in this van at all. So I was pretty meticulous when I went over it, but this I wanted to do. Now the stuff that I've got is like a carpet. It's supposed to stretch 4-way, which I don't really care about, because it's still going to be a bit of a pain to adhere, because you can get self-adhesive, I believe, and also you can get the standard carpet type. Now I've gone for the standard carpet type, and this is what it is. Right, here's the bag, and you can get the address there, and you can get it in a variety of colours. I've gone for the same colour, the neutral grey, and I think that's better. And it's quite good stuff actually, as you can see. It's not that thick, it's certainly not as thick as the foam there that you've got, but it won't give any insulation of course unless I put it on double, which is not ideal really. And I'm trying to think of some kind of insulation that I could put underneath there that the contact adhesive wouldn't attack. So unfortunately polystyrene is out of the question. So I'm still thinking about that, but that is the colour and what I'm going to be using. Not expensive. To get a 2 metre by 1 metre roll of this or amount with adhesive was a tenner on eBay. So it's not a fortune. So that's what I intend to use. And that means hoovering all that blasted dust out. It got everywhere. So I've got all the dust out now, so it's all nice and clean. So now all I've got to do is cut this, and that's 17 inches wide and 34 inches long. That gives me about ½ an inch to play with, so that I can stretch it and tuck it in down here. Wish I could put in something a bit thicker that would insulate this, but I'm not going down the foam route. I really don't know what to do, because it's a curve there. It's not very easy to do. I've had a look at the foam board. That's what I've got on this. My favourite sign that goes outside in the window. There we go. So, but more to the point, after I made this, of course I used a bit of foam board to do it. You can see it, look. It's polystyrene insert, but the trouble is that I won't be able to curve it round. I've tried and it just doesn't go. So I'm a little bit of a loss what to do here. So I'm going to stop at the moment and I'm going to have a think about it, because I believe that being cold in the morning here when you get ready, I need some kind of insulation on that. Otherwise I'm going to end up with the same problem. It's going to end up getting wet. Dampness has got to go somewhere, and it doesn't matter if I've got ventilation or not. It's got to be insulated. Anyway, that's the way it stands at the moment. Right, here we go. I've cut the cloth. I've got a little bit left over, but I don't think I've got enough to do the front, but I've got enough to do the back area. But this is the one that I've just cut off. I've measured that, and hopefully it'll be alright. Just so you know, this is overkill from me, but there we go. I'm masking it all off so that all I have to do is spray it in here, and I'm not going to get nothing on anything else. So I'm going to do is spray that, and then after that spray the carpet itself, and then after that I can tack it on without getting any glue on any of the finish or the blind or anything like that. So that is my last bit to do today. The weather outside, it's all raining, it's not a warm day, so it's not ideal to do this, so I thought I'd mask it off. So that's it, and I've got to wait now for an half decent day before I spray this up and then spray the material, which is already cut to shape, and then after that I can put it in. Right, the good news is it's finished and it looks nice, but let me tell you, it's not as easy as you think. Because it's a contact adhesive, you get no real second chances. It's alright saying if you put it on and you put it on wrong, pull it off, but my God, it's not easy. And you need to mask up. When you're spraying, you cannot keep it off things like this, the beading or anything else. Or in fact this, you could easily get it on the finish or on here. So do as I did, put the paper behind, and then after that, when you spray, you only spray up to that edge, which is all you need, because this edge here doesn't have to be all that good, as you can see. Look, there you go, look. You can see that it's not exactly brilliant, but when this is back on and it's touching it, it not only locks it up, but it also gives you a neat finish. Now, although it's a stretch carpet as such, that's what they call it anyway, where you do get any glue on, like you can see perhaps a little bit there, it's murder to get off. So what this would have done if I'd have got it on here and I hadn't sprayed properly, I hate to think. Now, it's a contact adhesive, which means that you spray both surfaces, and then after that you start on a corner and then you feed it across. I started up the top and went across there, and then gradually fed it down, and before long it was starting to slide out at the edges. So I had to stretch it to get it into there. And as for pulling it off and putting it back on, yeah, you can pull it off, but by Christ, it's hard. And not only that, by pulling it off, you actually stretch it, so that doesn't do you any favours either. So it's not the easiest thing to do. Perhaps I put a little bit too much glue on, I don't know. But all I can say to you is, if you do this, it's not easy, and mask up places like this. It's only a bit of paper, you just put in and fold down so that it covers that, so that when you spray it, you spray it up to there, but you don't spray onto stuff like this, otherwise it won't stick. It's as simple as that. The adhesive as well, a self-adhesive, this stuff is up to 122°C, because don't forget, outside this gets damned hot. So if you've got any other kind of contact adhesive, then it's going to come off and it's going to fail. Whereas at this temperature, the glue is fine up to 122°C. So that's another clue. Also, remove everything. Like I removed the cupboard here. All this was gone. Took it down to give me enough room to work. But as I say, it's not the easiest job in the world. It looks nice. I'm quite pleased with it. You know, for a compound surface like that, it looks nice now. It's not like it was. But as I say, don't tackle this lightly. It's not the easiest thing in the world. But anyway, I hope my waffling has helped. And as you can see, it does look better now. Bit of reflection from the old sun there. Now look, but it looks quite nice. So I'm quite pleased with that. But there you go.